What is up, and welcome into another episode of Somebody Said Kane Show with your boy Breeze. As always, man, I appreciate everybody that tunes in, everybody that shows love. Every week, man, y'all been in here rocking with me. What going on, Jacoby? Let me show that thing. What happening, boss? Man, appreciate you coming in, dog. You, plenty of the people showing love, subscribers going up, likes going up, views going up, man. It's been nothing but love, man. The Canes family definitely been treating me like that, man, and I appreciate all of it. As you can tell, I am not in my usual location. That actually might be a good thing, man, considering the issues I had last week. Messed around and had my microphone cord fall out week before or didn't have the right audio setup. So me not being at my usual setup at the crib might actually be a blessing, man. I'm up here in Canada on a work trip. But man, trying to stay consistent, man, trying to keep the content going, man. So dropping in on this Wednesday night. I will say for the next few months, I got some personal stuff going on, so the shows are gonna switch from Wednesdays to Tuesdays, same time, 8 p.m. But for the next few months, this show, somebody said Kane show, usually on Wednesday nights at 8, they're gonna be at Tuesday nights at 8. So everybody who try to jump in live, man, which again I appreciate so much, man. Like cannot say how much I appreciate it. The show is gonna change from Wednesdays to Tuesdays and then eventually that'll probably switch back, but I'll let y'all know. Man, so like I say, on a work trip, man, but I definitely want to jump in because it's an important week. It's the last week of spring ball. It's crazy because when the season ends, we be looking forward to spring ball. And it seemed like it take a little while to get here. Then again, it felt like it's gone. Like I feel like spring ball just started. But it's already been a month. And the boys been getting after it, man. So I wanted to come in here and do a final show before the spring game and talk about some things that if I was gonna be in town, I'll still be up here in Canada, so I won't be able to be there to watch it. And I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be televised. So some of the things that I would say you should be looking at, right? The tag for the night. Have disciplined eyes. What are some things to watch for in the spring game aside from the usual stuff, right? Like everybody want to see is the offense clicking. Everybody want to see is Jackson Cantwell. How does he move? How does he perform? We all want to see is Damon Wilson getting off that edge and replacing what we're losing at DN. But I got a couple other angles. Y'all know my thing. I always try to bring a different angle, a different perspective than maybe what a lot of other people are talking about. So if you are going to the spring game, shout out to you. I'm jealous, like I say. I won't be able to be there this year. A couple of the homies gonna be there, some other folks I know gonna be there. So I have some boots on the ground, you might say, that'll be able to come back and tell me what they seen, and we'll wrap up with that next week. But anyway, wanted to come in and talk about some of the things that I would say have your eyes on, right? If you get to the spring game, some things to look at, some things to pay attention to that maybe some other people are not talking about, right? Because everybody's talking about a lot of the same stuff, and I get why. But this one, I bring a little bit of a different angle on it. So I'm gonna give you my perspective, some things that I would say, take a look at if you're gonna be out there at that spring game, man. Appreciate you, Chris Breeze, Chris Brown, man. I appreciate you joining, man. Again, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for rocking with me and supporting. Please keep hitting that like. Please keep hitting that subscribe. It's going to allow me to continue to do more of this again. And hopefully I'm bringing content that people enjoy. So let's go ahead and get into this. Because I am mobile, I'm not on my laptop, so ain't going to be no graphics, no pictures or nothing. We just going to chop it up. We're going to talk ball, man. So yeah, absolutely. Number one. You know what? Matter of fact, that's not where I was gonna go, but that's a good place to start, bro. We want to be injury free, right? How to see them boys go out there, perform, have fun. But the most important thing about a spring game is you want everybody walking off that field the same way they walked on that field. Like that's 100%, bro. That's a great call out. Absolutely want to see everybody walk off that field healthy. So I kind of got some position groups in mind. And I'm gonna just go down the line, you know what I'm saying, and just say some of the things that if I was gonna be there, things that I would be looking for again, aside from the obvious. So number one, we all want to see Darian Mensah in that orange and green jersey. Actually, it might be in a black jersey because them boys can't be touched. And obviously, you want to see him throw the ball. You want to see the chemistry. But one thing I would tell people to watch for, and if I was going to be there at the spring game, I would tell people to watch his demeanor. Like obviously, Darian Minson's got the arm talent. We want to see him, showing that chemistry with the receivers and all that stuff. But really, one of the things that is crucial about experienced quarterbacks, and one thing that I've heard about Darian Minson so far in spring practice, is his comfortability, how calm he is in the pocket, even when the pocket may be in chaos. Peep his demeanor as he goes through the spring game. There is value in having a quarterback who's been through multiple spring games and played a lot of big time ball where they don't get rattled. And so a quarterback's demeanor, similarly like the OC, because Shannon Dawson recently talked about how he stays calm because the offense feeds off that, right? You need an offense to be mentally sound. You need them boys dialed in and relaxed. You don't want the rah, wild, riled up stuff like the defense. So that's why you see Heatherman wilding out, but Dawson don't be wilding out on that sideline. But watch Darian Miss's demeanor. The way he goes about his business is very NFL like. It's very professional like. It's very, I've been here before. I know what I'm doing. And so if you are one of those people and you're wondering how successful this offense might be, he's going to instill confidence in you just by the way he handled his business. Darian Minsa is he a cool customer, right? As the way they say it. He just looks composed at almost all times, man, and that bleeds into the rest of the offense. That's confidence. It's not cockiness, it's confidence. And so when your quarterback has that level of suave about him, everybody else kind of relax too. And everybody else is like, okay, he got us. Right. That was one of the things about Cam Ward. When we seen Cam Ward throw a pick, you never really seen Cam Ward raging out on the sideline. Cam never looked rattled. Think back to that Cal game on the road. We all stayed up till 1, 2 in the morning watching the game and watching highlights. Cam never looked rattled. We're down multiple touchdowns. We need a huge comeback. He always looked the same. Like he always had the same movement about himself. You know what I'm saying? So when you watch Darian, watch for that same thing, man. Watch for him to have that same cool, calm demeanor. You know what I'm saying? And he is going to instill confidence in everybody else. At the running back position, Mark Fletcher is going to be our starter. We already know that. Mark Fletcher is going to be a starter. Can't say enough good things about Mark. One of the things that I would say if I was at that spring game, I would be looking for, I'm looking for Jordan Lyles' vision and burst. Those were the things that set Jordan Lyle apart on that in that running back room. Those were a couple of things that a lot of guys didn't have in that running back room, and that's part of why Jordan Lyle was the starter going into last season. He had a burst that other guys didn't have. Right? We remember the play against USF, but that's the last thing we've seen Jordan Lyle do for real. We haven't seen Jordan Lyle really make no plays since then. So I want to see, does Jordan Lyle have that burst again? Because when he came back from that injury, he looked hesitant. He looked like he didn't believe in his abilities. He seemed like he was overthinking. He wasn't seeing the field right and hitting the hole with vigor and conviction. And it basically what got him passed up on the depth chart. That's why we saw Prinkle get that start opportunity when Mark was hurt. We saw Marty Brown get more touches because Jordan Lyle just didn't have that same step. He didn't have that see the hole, hit the hole, and shoot through it. So if you're there and you see Jordan Love get touches, because he's going to get touches, right? These backs have all gotten opportunities with Mark Fletcher getting limited carries due to just maintenance, right? He had carried the ball a lot in that postseason run. So they've been kind of keeping Mark, I wouldn't say on ice because he's definitely still out there. He's still playing, he's still getting touches, but they're not giving him, a ton of touches. They're not riding him like a workhorse. Because one, you know what you're getting from him and you want to maintain his body as a running back. But two, you want to get him other young boys an opportunity as well. You want to see, does Jordan Lyle have that confidence back to be the Jordan Lyle who won the starting job? So at the running back spot, something to watch again, aside from all the obvious stuff. Does Jordan Lyle have that burst? I'm gonna flip the tight end. I haven't really talked a whole lot about tight end, and to be honest, not a lot of people are. One because we didn't get a whole lot that out of that tight end position last season. I think a lot of people are in wait and see mode. Elijah Lofton this time last year got a ton of hype. He got a ton of hype. He was talking about, oh man, Jordan, Elijah Lofton killing him in practice. Elijah Lofton balling in spring. Season come around, he's dealing with a shoulder injury, and we just don't see that out of him. So I think the hype has kind of died down. But the biggest thing that I want to see from the tight end position, can we get back to blocking well at the tight end spot? We bring in Mike Vitti, the former offensive line coach at the Army, who man, that dude does some great interviews. If you haven't listened to the new tight end coach, Vitti speak, go watch his interview, man. Very well spoken. You can tell he's very intentional. He knows his ball. Coach offensive line at Army. I want to see our tight ends get back to blocking the way they used to. Elijah Arroyo, very underrated blocker. Very special in the open field, right? You can't teach that size and speed combination. Great pass catcher, but he was a phenomenal blocker too. Can we get back to getting good blocking at the tight end position? We run a whole lot of 11-man personnel, a whole lot of 12 set, one running back, one tight end, two tight ends. Can we get back to getting good blocking? Alex Ballman, honestly, I hope I never see him in Coral Gables again. Like, bro, stay away from the program. And I'm not trying to be rude or nothing like that, but bro was just Bunzy. I'll go to my grave saying he's the number one reason we lost the Natty. That block punt was egregious. But can we go back to getting good blocking? So how do the tight ends block? Like I think that's an important factor in this offense. Even when we went more spread concepts with Cam Ward and we opened up a little bit more, we still depended on Elijah Arroyo to block a good bit, especially on the edges. So can we go back to getting good blocking from our tight ends, whether it's Elijah Lofton, is Luca Gilbert, is Gavin Mueller, whoever it is from that who's out there in that tight end spot, Jackson Carver. Hey, bro, I need to see some good blocking from the tight ends. Offensive line wise, obviously everybody wants to talk about Cantwell. We got starters, new starters all over the place. The thing to watch is, are they cohesive? Right? Are they on the same page? Are they getting the calls right? Because that's really going to determine the ceiling of this offense. Darian Minshew is going to ball. The receivers are six deep on the outside. Malachi Tony is a top 10 player in the country. Mark Fletcher is a top five returning running back in the country. The offensive line is going to determine how high this offense really goes. The offensive line is going to determine, are we a top three offense in the country or are we more like top 20? We're going to be top 20, I think, guaranteed. But the offensive line and their ability to be cohesive is going to tell the tale of how high this offense goes. You can hear from the interviews, if you poke through stuff that Mario is saying, is that he has been challenging Heatherman to throw some exotic stuff at that offensive line to really put them boys in the grits. He's really testing them boys by fire, and hopefully they come out on the other side of it ready to go, right? More refined, right? When you got gold, you purify gold by heating it. You melt it, you get the sediment and the dirt out of it, and you end up with a more refined, higher quality of gold. Same thing with that offensive line, man. Heatherman's been throwing some stuff at them boys. Sometimes they fail, sometimes they pass. But really, you want to know, how do they do in the long term, man? Because really, it's about not just the spring. We're talking about what them boys gonna look like in the season. Chris, you got a question, bro? Say, do you think with Shannon Dawson is the tight ends set up for success though? I think so, man, because even when we didn't get good production out of the tight ends last season, we ran a lot of 12 set personnel. And honestly, I kind of got to a point personally where I was cool on it. Like I got to a point personally where I'm like, why are we still running split zone and asking Alex Baldwin to come across that line and pick up an edge when he's failing at it? Like go back and watch the film, man. Like Ballman way too many times just couldn't get there to his assignment and couldn't hold up, man. I was watching the Notre Dame game recently, really before last week, before I took my trip, and bro just couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it, man. But when we had an Elijah Arroyo, we utilized him one as a blocker first, then two as a passing threat. So if those guys can do the things that the offense would like to get from the tight end position, I think they can be successful. But you got to be able to block, right? It's almost like where with Mario's philosophy of, if you don't give max effort on punt coverage and kickoff coverage, you don't get snaps, on defense and on offense. I think when it comes to them tight ends, man, if they not really putting in that work at blocking, same thing with receivers. If y'all not blocking in Mario's system, you're not getting touches. You're not getting snaps. So I think the tight ends can be successful in this offense because we do, when we had a elite tight end with Elijah Arroyo, we saw him do a lot of things, but he did a lot of things well. We're talking about an NFL tight end, and maybe these guys just aren't NFL quality tight ends right now. But if they ever get to that point, obviously I think it opens up a lot of things with this offense because we do some really cool things with the tight end position when you really hone in on those dudes. But they got to be worth it, man. They got to earn it, and you earn it by blocking first. Same thing at receiver. You got to be able to block. Running backs, you got to be able to block. If you can't block in Mario's, under Mario on that offense, aside from quarterback, bro, I just don't see how you get snaps. Blocking is critical across the field. All 10 guys minus the quarterback. So I think they can be, but man, they're gonna have to earn it, man. They gotta earn it by blocking well. So we'll see. But that's one thing that I would watch for the offense. Receiver, not a whole lot, just a cool thing to keep your eyes on. Just watch how deep we are on the outside. Like just watch how there's not a whole lot of drop off at the receiver position when you go from ones to twos to maybe even threes. Right? The young guys are still learning, they're still green. Milan Paris makes his plays here and there. Samorian Wingo absolutely will make his plays. None of the young boys will likely have a Malachi Tony last season type of spring game. But just notice when we roll from the first teamers to the second teamers, it's not a whole lot of drop off. There's a lot of talent in that wide receiver room. So I'm not saying nothing y'all don't know. Now, if you watch this show, you really be in the trenches on these canes like I do, man. So I'm not telling you something you don't know, but that's a cool thing to keep your eyes on. On the defensive line, look at whoever's playing next to uh, Justin Scott because we know Ahmad Moten's that dude. But what we also know is you need depth at D tackle. So right now, Jarquez Carter is fighting for snaps there. Keona Davis is fighting for snaps there. Situationally, we'll put Armando Blunt at that D tackle spot. Right now, we're figuring out who's going to be that third D tackle. So if you're at the spring game and you're looking for something to keep your eyes on that. All right. Who is that third D tackle who's really earned that spot? You need depth at D tackle. Ahmad Moten really grinded through that playoff run, man, but he played hurt. He was not 100%. He was still impactful. He definitely wasn't no slouch. He definitely still got his. But we need depth at that D tackle spot. We absolutely do, right? And it's going to be Jarquez Carter. It's going to be Keona Davis. Like it's going to be those transfers we brought in. You really can't lean on a Keyshawn Stansfield yet. Logan Nagel's not really ready yet. Them boys are still a little light in the gas tank. So who is really going to step up and be that third D tackle that rotates, right? Because we rotate D tackles a lot. Heatherman did it. It's been a Miami thing for a while where we want to rotate them D tackles because God, them big boys be putting in that work, dog. And if you play D tackle, bro, like after about a half a drive, after about 6 plays, boys start tapping that helmet, man. So you need some depth at that D tackle spot. So keep your eyes on that. Who's the other linebacker? Motore, kind of been in and out. They kind of got him, chilling a little bit. We really need somebody else to be that other linebacker. Chase Smith has had a fantastic spring. Chase Smith has had by far his best spring yet. He is going to be a pleasant surprise for a lot of people because a lot of folks wrote him off, especially because the injuries. But who's going to be that other backer? Same thing. We like to rotate backers. And if we can rotate them backers, we'll do that. But those guys got to earn it, man. They got to do it from consistency. They got to be in the right place. They got to be disciplined. Your eyes got to be good at that linebacker spot, and you got to be able to read and react. So who's going to be that other backer? DB, there really ain't a whole lot to watch. If you're looking for something at DB, your best bet is just to get an eye full of JJ Dunnigan. Pause because JJ Dunnigan is a specimen. We don't have another JJ Dunnigan on this roster. We don't have another guy with those measurables, those instincts, and that speed on this roster. Corner, we know we getting that corner. Like we know we getting that corner. We know what our guy Bryce Fitzgerald is going to be. Zechariah Porter is quietly one of the most consistent guys on this team. Omar Thornton, He might thump some dudes, but honestly, we kind of know we getting at the DB spot. So if you're just looking for something to be peeping at, something to take notice of out there at that spring game, man, enjoy watching JJ Dunnigan live in person. It looks different, right? Some dudes, it just look different when you see him out there, man. And when you see JJ on that field, especially when you look at him alongside the other DBs, he stands out. Like it's not gonna be hard to find him. I know we all been there before. We looking down the sideline. We like, where's so and so? It don't take you long to find JJ Dunnigan, man, because physically he's just made different. And that young boy has been hooping. So he's gonna be another good one. I think he ends up being too good to keep off the field this season. Shout out to him for getting in early and putting that work. So those are my things that I would be watching at the spring game. Again, as I mentioned at the top, I'm on a work trip. I'm up here in Canada, handling some day job activities. So I won't be at the spring game. But if you out there, those are the things I would watch for. Watch for Darian Mince's demeanor, right? Just how he goes about his business. Very NFL like, very business like. Does Jordan Love still have that burst? Does he look like he's got that confidence back? That's one thing that I would be looking for. Can the tight ends block? Right? Can we see some decent blocking from them tight ends, man? Because if we can, that opens up this offense a little bit. Is the offensive line gelling? Are they being cohesive? If after the play, them dudes are looking at each other, you start seeing the hand motions, that's not a good sign, right? So if the offensive line gelling, are those guys on the same page with their pre-snap reads and their communication? Defense, who's going to be that third D tackle? Who's lining up next to Justin Scott? That's something that I would be looking for. Who's that other backer, right? We know Motori is a starter. Chase Smith has had a fantastic spring. Who's that third backer? We also rotate backers a lot. DBs, they like Chris Brown just said in the comments, we loaded that DB. Loaded that DB. So it really ain't a whole lot to see. We know what Xavier Lucas is. We know what OJ the Juice Man is, Damari Brown, EOC, Zach Poyser, Bryce Thornton. So it's not really a whole lot new to see there. But again, like I said, if you're looking for something to have your eyes on at the spring game for the DB room, it's JJ Dunnigan. Because he just looks different. And it's gonna be a pleasant sight to see when you get your eyes on that. I wanted to wrap up with a little bit of recruiting talk, man. And first of all, I feel like a goofball. And this is why I always say, bro, I am not an insider by any means. I see and hear a lot of the same stuff y'all see and hear. Yeah, like I said, I might know some people who know some people who know a couple things. And they might drop some nuggets on me every now and then. But I came on here last week and I was like, oh, who could be the next guy to commit? And I said it was going to be Myson Johnson Cook. We've gotten three commits since I did the show last week, and not one of them was Myson Johnson Cook. Now, on Myson, real quick, or the law firm as they calling him, he does have a commitment day scheduled. It's April the 25th. Today is April the 15th. So in 10 days, Myson Johnson Cook, the very highly recruited, highly respected running back that we would love to have as our RB1 in this class, he is going to make a commitment, but it's not going to be until April 25th. So he was not the next guy to commit, like I said he could be. We've gotten several other commits, a couple in the trenches. We got an offensive. We actually no, all three are trenches. We got Sean Tatum, top 247 interior offensive lineman here in the state of Florida. We got the big 6'9" kid who's he's a JUCO kid. Name is escaping me at the moment. That's bad podcasting, but I think y'all will let me slide on that one. And then we just got another commit today. Another offensive line commit, 3-star kid who, looks fun. I saw just a little bit of his tape. Kid definitely plays with some attitude, plays very mean. They're all developmental guys though, right? In one of my chats when Sean Tatum committed and the kid committed today, the first comparison both we all landed on was a Nez Cooper, where it ain't gonna hit day one. Like he not showing up, like a Jackson Cantwell, like a CC. It ain't gonna be a day one type of guy. But if he stays committed to the process, Sean Tatum too, if them boys stay committed to the process and they continue to put in that work, they could be legitimate contributors, potentially multi-year starters, right? And Nez Cooper was a 3-star kid out of Georgia, out of them backwoods. Not a lot of people was banging on his door for real. He had a few offers. He ended up picking Miami. He stayed committed to the process. He ended up being a 2-year starter, and now he's going to have an opportunity to go play in the NFL. So, if these offensive line commitments we've received in the past week, all three of them stay committed to the process, there's a lot of opportunity for them boys. The 6'9" kid is monstrous. Like, he was standing next to Markel Bell in a photo, and them boys was like, here. He like Jit is a legit 6'9", man. And you can't teach 6'9". You can't teach that arm reach. You can't teach that wingspan. That's the word I'm looking for. So, a lot of things to work with. And other thing I said in my group chat when them commitments came through, I personally will never question a Alex Mirabal or Mario Cristobal offensive line commit. Like, I'm never gonna do that because if anybody knows offensive line, man, it's them. And I trust them boys explicitly. And I mean explicitly when it comes to that offensive line, man. So, a couple of commitments on the offensive line, more commitments will be coming. Right? Don't check out. You see what it say right there? The headline I put on it, Mo commits. Like from like Damon Wayne's in there, more money, more money, more money. More commits are coming, man. We're going to make a push for one of the best classes in the country. It's not gonna slow down. There's gonna be some kids out there this spring game, some big name kids out there. There's been big name kids at practices every week. Like, it's a revolving door. A top 247 commits, 4 and 5 star commits that are just visiting the Gables, man, week after week, practice after practice. Because Mario got that thing going up. I said it. I said it when we lost the Natty. This thing was just getting started because now Mario had wins to sell, and the kids is feeling it. Them kids is reacting to it, man. You see it. You see the amount of kids that are visiting, the names, the commitment battles that we're in. Last week, my headline was big battles only. It's not gonna slow down. It's not gonna stop, man. I expect more commitments. Chris said that boy, the law firm is a silent. Hey, Chris, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I use this analogy in in my group chat with my homies. I say, man, a silent commit is like a stripper. It really ain't real until she hits you after the shift. And I'm not speaking on that out of experience. But a silent commit really don't mean nothing, man. It's like a dancer flirting with you. She doing all that flirting, man. But if she don't call you after that shift, man, it was just flirting. So a silent commit, man, until they go official, man, until that thing public, man, until I see a hat on the head with a U t-shirt and the family all unzipped and everybody got on Miami gear. Man, silent commits don't exist in my opinion, man. So he very well could be a solid commit. Right? He definitely is leaning in our way. I think we've been leading in that recruitment for a while, but as I said, I'm not an insider. The vibes just seem very, very up. Reading through the tea leaves, seeing what I've been seeing, hearing what I've been hearing, the stuff he says publicly, it definitely feels like it's our commitment to lose at this point. But best believe, Missouri, they're gonna throw a crazy bag at him. Best believe that some of these other schools that are in that recruitment are gonna throw some wild money at him. And as we've seen, DJ Jacobs was a silent commit. He ends up committing to Ohio State. David Stone was a silent commit. And they get up on that TV, man. They get in front of that camera, and them boys put on a different hat. It happens. It's part of the game. He probably will end up a hurricane if I had to bet on it right now today. But that's why I don't gamble. Because you could lose. So, we'll see what happens with it. I feel good going into it, but we'll see, man. April 25th. Okay, Chris said that's his birthday. Okay, well, bet, man. Hey, listen, hopefully that boy stay healthy. Every year on this earth is a blessing. And hopefully that boy ends up being a Miami Hurricane. But I feel good about where it is right now. We just got to get across that finish line, man. 30 minutes. Y'all know how I do. I try and get in and get out, especially right now in the off season. Let's talk some ball. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's keep it moving. I'll be back next week. Again, though, as I mentioned at the top, next week, starting next week, I'm going to flip these shows to Tuesday nights at 8. So right now, I've been doing them every Wednesday night at 8. Starting next week, we're going to be Tuesday night at 8. Also, man, I owe y'all another apology, bro. And I feel like a goofball. Came on and said my audio was gonna be better, man, and my audio cut off for like 2 minutes. And I'm just sitting there yapping and you can't hear a word, bro. And I watched that thing back, I was disgusted. So not in my usual setup, like I say, traveling right now, but I definitely want to jump on and do a show, man. At this point, I just need to say I hope the audio has been solid enough. Rocking with the AirPods, I can't travel with the mic and all that stuff, man. It's way too much. But I will be back next Tuesday at 8 p.m. reviewing the spring game. I'll probably just go ahead and do a post spring game all 22, starting all 22. Who do I think the starters were coming out of the spring, which likely will mean they're going to be the starters when the fall begins, when fall ball starts in August. Those guys will likely be the starters. So I'll be back next week. Man, cannot thank everybody enough. I appreciate y'all so much, man. Like, real talk. Y'all can be watching anything, man, and there's a lot of good Kane shows. Go watch those people too. But I appreciate y'all jumping in, hitting the comments. Please keep hitting that like. Please keep hitting that subscribe. And I'm going to do my best to keep bringing good Miami Hurricanes content, man. See y'all next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Until then, man, y'all stay safe. Y'all be cool. And y'all know what it is, man. It's Go Canes, man. I'm going to holler at y'all.